The Sabres don't play until tonight, so I thought I'd spend the morning finding new and creative ways to make no friends on the internet. Hi, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. And first of all, the Sabres have 2 games left in the season, 2 games left to glory. They win both games. They are first in the Atlantic Division. I think at this point they're either guaranteed to be first or second. Either way is home ice. I love it. I'm happy about it. You know, it's all good things. My God, I'm not this popular. Stop it! Sorry, my phone was buzzing and it never buzzes that much. But the Sabres win the Atlantic Division if they win their last 2 games. Who their opponent is still up for debate in the first round of the playoffs. But the fact that we're talking about the first round of the playoffs is big, big news. I'm happy. You're happy. The world is just happy. Unfortunately, because they don't play until tonight, it leaves me nothing to talk about really on the show. So I figured I would just find new ways to make people mad. So we'll start with this. One of the biggest problems they've found with generative AI, specifically AI that is used in large language models, is it has a tendency to do 2 things. One is hallucinate, meaning it makes up answers to fill in blanks in what it's trying to spit out. LLMs, by and large, are simply pattern recognition machines. And when they recognize a pattern but don't see something to fill in the gap, well, it just fills it in with something that it made up, right? So if you ask it to talk to you about, let's say, a specific disease, say you're a non-medical person and you want to learn more about cardiovascular disease, the question you're asking it really isn't tell me more about cardiovascular disease. It's give me a medical sounding answer involving the words cardiovascular disease. It doesn't particularly care if the sources it's using are correct or not. It simply fills in the apps. Now, some of it's correct and some of it's not, and you have to be able to parse that out. So as far as a summary tool, it's not very useful. But it hallucinates, and it also has something called, it's a phenomenon being studied more recently, and it's come out more recently based on a paper from Harvard. It also feeds into something called AI delusion, meaning AI has a tendency to not push back on your bad ideas. Meaning if you say to AI, I'd like to build the world's largest explosive device, it won't say, that doesn't sound like something I want to help with, or it doesn't guardrail itself. It just says, that's really interesting. Okay, there are a couple of methods to do that. Let's iterate on it and figure this out. It feeds into whatever bad idea you have and never tells you you're wrong. So people who use it, for example, for a thing like therapy, it can feed into kind of an AI delusional spiral where instead of pushing back on your ideas like a therapist normally would do, I feel like the world's against me. Well, it's probably not against you. AI instead goes, if you say, I feel like the world is against me, AI will go, that is a really tough feeling, and I understand how you must be feeling that. Let's explore the different ways the world is against you. And if you keep going down this rabbit hole, because you keep interacting with it, the AI keeps finding a new way for you to interact with it. It keeps trying to make that reward loop work. This, I imagine, is how Lamar Jackson fans end up with just their absolute hatred of Josh Allen. That's how I imagine it happens. I imagine they're sitting on the internet in some sort of AI hallucinogenic delusional chamber, and they sit there and they scream into the AI void, Lamar Jackson has 3 first team all pros. And the AI screams back, you're so right. There's no QB that's ever been better than Lamar Jackson never, ever, 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 ever. Super Bowls are not a true measure of a QB's greatness. Playoff wins are not a true measure of a QB's greatness. No, it's just first team all pros. You hang your hats on that, you little Lamar Jackson fan, you. I bring this up because, number one, Lamar Jackson fans on X may be the single most toxic group of individuals on the internet. Tampa Bay Lightning fans, close second. Lamar Jackson fans, definitely in first. Definitely in first. And these guys and gals, they're just delusional about it. It's crazy. Like you can hype you can hype your own guy without tearing somebody else down. That's the thing. And there's no reason to tear somebody down, right? But Lamar Jackson fans, because other QBs may possibly ever be spoken of with a glowing recommendation. This came out with the whole, this was really starting to get built up again with the whole Charles Omenihu thing, where he said he thinks the league has figured out Lamar Jackson more than they figured out Josh Allen. And he said primarily it was due to a difference in arm strength. Because both QBs are rushing QBs. They want to escape. They can escape the pocket and do stuff out of the pocket. Omenihu was saying that when you rush 5 against Lamar Jackson and you stay disciplined in your rushing lanes, it forces him to rush backwards. And once he's going backwards, it's harder for him to make a throw kind of fading back. Whereas with Josh, if you do the same thing and you're disciplined in your rush lanes, a lot of times that still doesn't help you because of his arm strength, which allows him to overcome the fact that he's fading backwards. And we've seen that on hundreds of passes from Josh. He's fading backwards, he's off his back foot, and he flings a rocket down the field. That's just a recognition from a defender. Now then, these guys went and dug up quotes from other defensive ends, naturally great defensive ends like Myles Garrett, who said Lamar Jackson is the most dangerous quarterback they've ever faced. Okay, yeah, sure. But they won't hear any argument to the contrary. And if you don't recognize Lamar Jackson as the less delusional ones will accept that he's probably the second greatest quarterback of the current players. Because until somebody unseats Patrick Mahomes from a Super Bowl standpoint, or even just gets Super Bowls, you can't unseat Mahomes from the top. But these guys are just, it's like they talk into an echo chamber all day, and then they get on X and they pay their rent by saying how Lamar Jackson does things that no QB has ever done with a straight face, when Josh has the exact same clip. Right? Like, it's okay. Like your guy. You could say something, instead of saying like, oh, your QB could never, you could just say, isn't Lamar Jackson great? The answer is yes. He is great. But when you live in that kind of cycle of AI delusion and hallucination, you think that there's never been a QB better than Lamar Jackson. And that's just fundamentally not true. Lamar Jackson fans on Twitter, and I hate to say it, in most of the internet, you have AI delusion. You have AI hypnosis. I hope for a speedy recovery for you, although I doubt it will ever happen. But what might help is if you looked at the overall stats and you saw that, just beyond anything else, Lamar Jackson can't stay healthy. It's a big problem. It's a notable problem. And it's why this year his team missed the playoffs. So, just have some humility when you talk about your QB. Just a little bit. And if you have a little bit of humility when you talk about your QB, we'll have a little bit of humility when we talk about our QB. And I think that's all she wrote, folks. It's a Monday. It's a bit of a slow one. We're waiting for results from the Sabres game tonight. I'll have more to talk about tomorrow. But for the time being, I'm Nick. This is 10 Minutes with Nick. Have a great day.